is to be properly preserved, and if in the event of independence there is to be a separate unit set up in Scotland, a proper ministry that does these things, then it would be sensible, if aid is not going to be damaged in the interim, not to try to do it in 18 months, which is what your government keeps boasting about, but to say, look, let's talk about a 5 or 7 year transitional period. And what you've just said is a really important point, because you're saying, actually, that's the way it would happen.
Actually, your claims are completely incorrect. Never once have in 18 months has the Scottish Government ever, Alex Salmond, Nicola Sturgeon, have they ever said straight upon day one we'd have every embassy set up in the world, we'd have every single structure in place right on the day of independence? No, of course. But what we do say is Scotland is well prepared as a European stable democracy that already has a parliament, that already has many powers, a civil service, the administrative infrastructure already based in Scotland. We are well placed within that 18 months, which, remember, when you take those 30 countries that have become independent post the 1950s after a referendum, have had the average timescale of 18 months, we are more than well placed to do that. My point is very simple. When it comes to international development, I believe that, of course, the UK government makes an impact of that, there is no doubt, and I commend them for that. But Scotland's impact as an independent country, where we enshrine 0.7% in law, but not only that, we don't undermine our contribution to global poverty and fighting against global poverty by selling arms and defence equipment to Robert Mugabe, Saddam Hussein, General Suharto, the Argentinian military junta, just to name a few, where we actually have the highest standards of international development, is possible, just like it is possible for Norway, for Sweden, for Denmark, and many other smaller European nations.
Hamza Yousaf, International Development Minister, thanks a lot for joining.
And this takes us from some quite hostile questioning to something rather different. This is Shona McAlpine.
I was going to start off with a quote from Mary Lockhart, who was the former chair of the Scottish Cooperative Labour Party. She's no longer the chair, partly because of what she said. A yes vote in the referendum for Scottish independence won't deliver utopia, but it will deliver a chance to shape a Scotland which reflects the identity of its people, a Scotland according to our values. Women for Independence, which is the group I spend most of my time representing, was formed for 2 reasons. One, because women's voices were not being heard in the debate. We wanted to make sure that there was no excuse for the media not to have women's voices on panels. We have been slightly successful in doing so. Newsnight Scotland, Scotland Tonight tend to be a little bit more balanced when it comes to the gender in their panels. There's still a lot of work to do. The other reason for Women for Independence was that we're aware that there's more support for independence amongst men than there is amongst women. It's not because women are anti-independence, it's because they're more likely to be undecided. It could be argued that women should be more supportive of a yes vote. Women are more affected by issues around welfare, social services, employment opportunities. We are also more generally hostile towards aggressive foreign policy. The powers to change our welfare, our employment opportunities and the foreign policy are out with our hands. So why are women not more supportive? The research that's been conducted kind of has about 3 reasons for this. One is that women tend to lack the confidence to speak and debate with men. There is a very macho-aggressive aspect to political debate, and a lot of women don't feel comfortable entering that. Women are also quite often discouraged from being assertive. Why is it that assertive men are described as powerful and commanding, and assertive women are overbearing and nippy? If anyone wants to call me that, you can see me and we'll debate assertiveness at the end, okay? I'm going to throw in a wee thing that I just watched a TV show called Borgen the other night, and it's a Danish TV show based on a female Prime Minister. And the episode I watched was a very attractive female Minister for Business. And she was putting forward a progressive policy for equality. And one of the things that happened in the show, we quite often see, is that during this, the very male-dominated media on the show decided to start showing pictures of this woman in her underwear when she was younger. It showed a list of all the, make sure there's no children, a list of all the men she'd had sex with in the tabloids. Now, you don't get that with men. And I know this was a TV show, but unfortunately it's quite realistic as to what actually does happen to female politicians. Okay. Women tend to be judged on being attractive, sexual, unattractive and unsexual rather than being intelligent or capable. Right. Research also tells us that women are a lot more wary of taking risks than men. When the truth is, the bigger risk is in voting no. If we vote no, then Westminster will take that as an indication that they can forget about Scotland. They will have no reason to give us more powers, and they will feel comfortable cutting the Scottish Government grants even further. It's the job of the Yes campaign to instil in women the confidence they needed for a yes vote, and to come out and talk to other women. It's something that Women for Independence try and do a lot with things like the listening exercise, where we find a safe space for women to talk to other women. An independent Scotland gives us the chance to create a more equal and just Scotland, offering the kind of provision that would bring employment policy, childcare, elderly care, education and health that we want to see in our society. This is attainable. At the moment, other areas of the UK have seen more privatisation and undermining of the welfare system. With a yes vote, Scotland can be protected from this. Women are not just important because of our numbers, but because of our abilities, our talents, and because we form the backbone of our communities and our families. We have the chance to create our own Scotland, a Scotland that better reflects our values. And for this to happen, it is vital to ensure that women's voices are being heard. After all, women are 52% of the population. Okay? Thank you.
Given that it's Christmas, I suppose we should finish up with some kind of northern type story. So here's Ivan Mickey.
Okay, my wee Norway story. I'll have a drink before this one. So just to finish up with, it's a wee story about the Prime Minister of Norway who was walking along the beach one day and he found the magic lamp. So he picks it up and gives it a rub, and out comes the genie, and the genie says, I'll give you some wishes, have as many as you want, to make Norway a better country. And the Prime Minister of Norway says, well, I can't really think of anything. We're one of the richest countries in the world every year. We're one of the happiest countries in the world. We've got tremendous natural resources, oil and fisheries and hydro, and it's great. He says, well, you'll need to think of something. So he thinks for a bit and he says, well, I can think of a few. He says, okay, let's run through them. He says, well, we've got a real problem with the language. Nobody else speaks Norwegian. We've all got to learn to speak English. It's hard work, sets us back in business, a bit of a pain. How about you make everybody in the world speak the same language as us? So if we go anywhere in the world, we just speak Norwegian and everybody understands us. Yeah, no problem. He says, we've got a beautiful country, but it's really big. It's really difficult to get around. How about if we had the same amount of natural resources, but in a country that was maybe a quarter the size? He says, yeah, I can do that. He says, the weather here's pretty horrible, minus 35 in the winter. It's really tough working in that climate. How about with a nice kind of mild climate all the year round, not too hot, not too cold, make life a wee bit easier? He says, yeah, we can probably do that. He said, but also our economy's a bit kind of narrow. We've got oil, we've got fishes. It'd be nice to have some other stuff. We've got this national drink that nobody's ever heard of called aquavit. And it'd be really good if everybody all around the world, from Shanghai to Chicago, would pay stupid money just to take some of this stuff off our hands, and nobody else could make it. He says, yeah, we can do that as well. He said, it'd be nice if we had tens of millions of people around the world that would come from Norway in recent generations and were willing to help us succeed in the world. He says, yeah, we can probably manage that as well. And he said, it's a long way from Norway to get to a big global market. So if we want to get to big markets, we've got to go through 2 other countries, and it takes a long time. How about you just put a big landmass right in our southern border full of 60 million people that all speak our language and are dying to buy our drink and our energy and our oil from us? And he says, yeah, we could probably manage that as well. So you can see where this is going. But but the best bit is based on an event that took place last week. The Prime Minister of Norway says, one other thing, could you get us a better football team? That's me. Thanks.
So that's it for this episode. On the Scottish Independence podcast, the guest usually chooses the tune, but apart from the guests you've heard, there's no actual direct guest, so I'm going to choose the tune, and I'm leaving you with this one, and I hope you've had a good day with your families.
It's good to be wise when you're young, 'cause you can only be young, but for once. Enjoy yourself and have lots of fun. Serve God and live, my friend, and it will never done. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Enjoy yourself while you're still in the pink. The years go by as quickly as you wink. Enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Get wisdom, get knowledge and understanding. Those three were given free by the Maker. Go to school, learn the rule, don't be no faker. It's not wise for you to be a footstool. So enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Enjoy yourself while you're still in the pink. Oh, years go by as quickly as you wink. Enjoy yourself.